Disclaimer, because people are oblivious, yes, this is a proof of cinema sins, but I am attempting to make this centered around the zombie aspects and survival of the films and less about the cinematography. I, however, will sometimes point out stuff about the movie I either love or hate, okay? So before some of you come in with those typical generic comments, just watch the first 30 seconds, okay? 20 seconds of Fox Searchlight Pictures. A mix of A Clockwork Orange and Planet of the Apes, forcing primates to watch violent media and them initiating the end of the world for humans? Powerful, yet effective. Back to Zero Sins. So you're saying forcing monkeys to watch violent media infected with this virus will somehow quell whatever uncontrollable rage this virus causes? Or are you just trying to make this worse? Did the media cause the rage part of this virus, or was it part of the viral strain? So you're gonna free all of these rather feral looking monkeys? What was your plan once they get out of their containment? That they'd be appreciative and be your pal like Curious George? Seriously! I get that they're the personification of PETA acting before they think, but if a doctor is saying they are infected, what are you gonna do when they're free? No crates, no cages, not even some bananas, nothing to transfer them to a natural habitat. You're just gonna free them into the streets of Cambridge? Typical PETA says they want to save animals, and once they take them in, they beat their brains in. Early on, we discovered just how drastically fast and contagious this disease is, and the fact that it causes people to vomit blood. Getting any blood or saliva in you turns you into a violent, rabies-ridden maniac. True horror with an explanation, -1 sin. I do have to ask, if this disease is so viral and deadly, how did 3 PETA-like rogues sneak in and only 1 scientist find them? You'd think they would have better security for a disease like this. A truly iconic scene for zombie movie lovers. Yes, they are infected here, shut the hell up, but Jim waking up from a coma in the hospital in the aftermath in the quiet streets of London. So iconic, in fact, that The Walking Dead had to start their series in coincidentally the exact same way. -1 sin and 1 future sin for whenever The Walking Dead makes that made-for-AMC movie. Jim seems to be functioning and walking well for someone that has been bedridden for over 4 weeks, and I would assume without food, water, or fluids for nearly 4 weeks as well. A human can survive those conditions, and I assume the hospitals were still running a few days into the outbreaks, but not that long. Jim should be a bit more frail in the least. I do find it strange that these feral humans are all cluttered up in buildings and not wandering the streets. This guy is out yelling for people, and not 1 infected comes up to him. I get they're trying to create the sense of solitude in a large world, but I'm zombie sins, not cinema sins, so go ahead and throw one out there. So the infected just like to hide amongst the dead to surprise the unwary? How did these people die in the church? Mass suicide? Firing squad? Pummeled to death by the infected without getting any blood or saliva in them? I've got a lot of questions. These infected downstairs just now decide to posse up and leave the cathedral? Convenient that these guys with lit Molotovs showed up in time to save Jim. In all the chaos from the previous 28 days, this station is still full of gas and able to be ignited by flaming infected. At least we finally get a legit explanation as to how zombies can cause explosions.
Man walks into a bar with a giraffe. They just get pissed. The giraffe falls over. The man goes to leave. The barman says, "Oi, you can't leave that lion there." He says, "No, it's not a lion, it's a giraffe."
A giraffe joke? Right after all of that? Really? Bruh. Selena explains that there are reports of the infection in New York and Paris, but in 28 weeks later, Americans are there to keep the infection quarantined, and the ending of 28 weeks later shows the infected reaching the Eiffel Tower. So either she got false information, or we are looking at a plot inconsistency, which later on they described that, yes, it was kind of a lie just to get people to believe that all the world has been infected. Should Jim be making that much noise? Don't want to summon the horde or anything. The bitter reality of an actual zombie-like apocalypse. People being unable to deal with the severity of all of this going on and ending it. Powerful. -1 sin. Why did these infected SEAL teams 6 their way in just because of a tiny little candlelight? Another thing, didn't Mark say they can't climb just a few minutes ago? How did this infected get on the rooftop to drop in? This infected falls through a glass roof, probably getting cut up a bunch, and claws at Jim, and somehow he doesn't infect him with even a drop of blood, but in that scrap, Mark gets bit? Okay. A perfect example of how ruthless you have to be in an outbreak like that. Even though you are friends, friendship doesn't negate you being infected. Chop 1 sin off and rip Mark.
Do you want us to find a cure and save the world, or just fall in love and fuck?
She would be great for zombie sins. A genius way of keeping the geeks out, barricading with grocery carts, having Christmas lights up high to signal to others while out of reach to the less intelligent infected. -1 sin. Did these infected just rampage into places where Jim and Selena are for dramatic tension, despite not knowing where they are? What about those infected straight chilling at church that were just staring at Jim? This movie constantly reminds me of actual people trying to survive when it comes to living on the high ground, having SWAT equipment, showing low water in their aquarium, not only depicting their diminishing time and supplies, but them having to use fish tank water to drink, capturing rain as much as possible on the roof, and just the survival aspects of the characters just seem real and not overly dramatic or idiotic. -1 sin. The streets are surprisingly open for a post-apocalyptic London. Congrats, you just risked everyone's safety and damaged your only means of transportation because of impatience and stubbornness. But hey, at least you had fun while doing it. These infected give up their chase. This entire grocery store is untouched. No ransacking or looting for emergency supplies or random infected break-ins like they've been doing everywhere else. The group of 4 has time to grocery shop leisurely for a heartwarming montage with no infected interference. The group coincidentally finds an untapped gas tanker. Here is another case of how did these people die instead of being infected? Were they beaten to death? Heart attacks from fear? Did this baby just cry itself to death? Okay, what the hell? Is this kid just chilling at the burger joint with all these dead bodies waiting for someone to stop by for a burger? Underage prescription abuse. Let's honk our horn as a joke to scare Jim while he's asleep. Oh boy, good laugh. Bet that noise just attracted a horde of them. Oh wait, they only come when you say
hello? Hello?
We have to go.
Yeah.
Go fucking where?
let's not scream in an abandoned military outpost maybe. They tend to come out when you barely even whisper
Hello? Hello?
or they don't. This scene sends shivers down my spine. A mere drop of blood from a crow means the end for Frank, and he knows it. The ensuing scene is the best in the movie for me and way too real. Pour one out for my homie Frank. Okay, what? These military guys were waiting the whole damn time? Didn't think to say hello or reach out? Would have probably prevented Frank's infection, you sneaky bastards. Something tells me director Danny Boyle really likes Jim's naked body. Alright, why the hell would you keep an infected around that can possibly spit blood or saliva at you while running full sprint chained up? These military boys do know that one drop could get you infected, right? A rusty metal collar could possibly wear at the neck and get some blood to surface. But hey, we need some karmic retribution later in the film for when he breaks his chain. Oh, speak of the devil, he literally just vomited a gallon of blood. What if he vomited on you in that tackle? No biosuits or tarps or any kind of clothing to protect your orifices like your eyes, your mouth, your nose, your ears? None of that? No precautions? Okay. This guy chained the radiator proves, while sounding like a conspiracy nut, that yeah, the infection probably hasn't spread as far as Paris and New York. Holy shit! A horror movie where the character doesn't do an unnecessary chase scene and he actually pretends to be a dead body? Actual thinking in a horror movie instead of tripping over yourself for a protagonist? And not only that, but he leaves the pile of dead bodies because he may think the army guys are gonna shoot them just as a double tap. -1 sin. These scenes make me extremely uncomfortable, but at the same time, as I've said before, if zombies are out and anarchy reigns, it's sad to say, but some people are gonna do this. These guys have what I assume is a limited supply of ammunition, yet they tend to just free fire at anything without even knowing what they're shooting at. Isn't there any kind of discipline for these men? No, probably not, because they're a bunch of pieces of shit! Do they ever reload either? They just kind of spray and then they just go off and shoot again.
And you're gonna be next.
Immediate foreshadowing. Mailer waits to break through the window to scare the shit out of us with that wicked ass stare. Oddly comical scene in the high point of this movie. -1 sin. Poetic justice and cruel irony. Jim kills the guy that refused to kill him with a knife. Stick 1 sin off for me. Jim, a delivery boy, carries out this master plan to distract the soldiers, free Mailer, and systematically take down the platoon of corrupt soldiers. Pro tip, don't piss off your delivery driver. After executing your master plan, why, after killing the wussy soldier, wouldn't you keep one of these assault rifles for yourself? There are infected and a few armed personnel still left around, Jim. That's a sight for sore eyes. I'm just gonna come in here and say the score titled In a Heartbeat, made for the 28 Days Later series, is so damn good, iconic, and powerful that I'm gonna go ahead and remove 3 sins for this masterpiece. And go ahead and check out that song. It is so damn good just to listen to. Selena is justified in her wariness. He did just beat the shit out of the guy like an infected would, and he is covered in blood. Why would you jolt forward at her and stop without a word? You literally just risked your life on the notion that you can't kill people you love. Bro, just say I'm not infected instead of running at someone that's wielding a machete. You're lucky you're not cut in half right now. I get the fact that you're happy he saved your life, but 30 seconds of making out when there are infected and maybe pissed off rapey soldiers around probably isn't the best idea, considering even a teenage girl caught the both of you off guard with a liquor bottle. Convenient, Hannah reverses the car right into where Mailer was coincidentally just outside for some of that unchained karmic retribution.
Fucking do it!
What? Why transition here? What happened to their car? Did it get totaled after already driving over destroyed cars? Did they attract more attention? This cut was really weird to me, and it seems like they didn't know what to do since they switched the endings. Because apparently 28 days is the only suitable amount of a time window. Coming full circle with Jim waking up alone in a somewhat hospital bed. A somewhat happy ending where Selena apparently knew how to perform surgery and then hoped that a jet saw them to send help. This ending was made because people said the original was too bleak. But wait, there's more! Here's the original ending. The sad reality that if you were shot and people around you didn't know a damn thing about medical procedures, pumping whatever they can into you, well, it just wouldn't work. Having Selena bitterly move on is what would have to happen. While I appreciate this, it was removed after test screening and only reintroduced to audiences once the movie started getting acclaim as an alternate ending. So for that fact, we're gonna add one more sin.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Weekend is a dolphin! Wow! Wow!
I push my fingers into my eyes.
Wow!
What are you gonna do with your life?
I'm going to get what I want.
Wow!
What are you in for?
Everything.
Wow! Wow!
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father.
Wow!
Okay, don't make any sudden moves. Hop inside my mouth if you want to live.
Hop in your mouth, huh?
One side.
Wow!
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Wow! They drew first blood!
What is that? Is that Rambo?
No, I made that up. Wow!